I'm your mom. Okay, this is Bonnie Barney. I'm 75 years old. I'm on Cuca Lake. What do you want?
A few years ago, I built an Adirondack chair for my mother. It was her grandfather's design. I took her grandfather's original chair, dismantled it, and used it as templates to build a new chair. Well, that chair didn't work out so well. The cedar just didn't hold up over the years. So this year I'm building her a couple more chairs using the cedar chair as the template.
We always had those fold-up Adirondack chairs, which people often had them, but they didn't fold like that Grandpa made in his workshop at 25 Westwood Street in Albany. Probably his pattern came from
Popular Mechanics?
Popular Mechanics,
Yeah.
right. He made them for us, he made them for himself, he made them for neighbors. He usually painted them orange. I don't know why. Probably the paint was cheaper or free because he used a lot of found materials.
Do you remember him making them?
I remember that he had made them, and he was always working in his shop. I don't remember when that one was made.
Tell me about his shop.
His down cellar at 25 Westwood Street, you could eat off the floors. There was a coal bin in one corner and sort of a partial room kind of area that had all of the canned goods for the year in another area. Grandma made pickles and piccalilli and canned tomatoes, and made what would be like today V8 juice, a tomato cocktail. It was all canned for the year. So those were two little areas of the cellar, and then the rest of the cellar was his workshop, his workbench under a window, and then in the ceiling around the workbench there were saved materials that he might use someday. He had taken apart some old brass beds, and all of the brass tubing from the beds was up in the ceiling. Any kind of metal, any kind of wood that might be used someday was all stored up there till he had a project. And then his favorite projects were lawn ornaments. Some of them were with movable parts.
The whirligig stuff?
Whirligig things.
Yep.
Or just stationary things you put in the ground. And what he hated the most was painting any of those. But anyway,
But a lot of those, the paint is actually the image.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he just hated doing the painting. The other thing he made a lot of besides the lawn ornaments was he jigsawed out silhouette wall sconces.
Oh, I remember those. I remember the silhouettes and corner shelves.
Oh,
and
the corner shelf that I have no idea where it went, that was his masterpiece, was probably 4 feet tall, minimum of 4 feet tall. It had flying eagles on the top of it, and I don't remember what the other
But it's
animals
basically quarter-inch plywood that he would just
yeah.
cut silhouettes in and
It was
join.
even. It was thinner than that even.
Yeah.
You know, and then shelves in it. And it was all just painted black silhouettes. He did a whole series of silhouettes of trains, starting with the DeWitt Clinton. Well, starting with ox carts and covered wagons, transportation series. And then the DeWitt Clinton, and of course he was an engineer on the 20th Century Limited. So all of the trains down.
Do you remember, were there lots of tools in the shop?
Hand tools, not power tools. He had a jigsaw. that he used to make all of these silhouette sconce things. But almost everything was hand saws, hand drills.
I actually remember some of the hand drills at Grandpa's. You know, you hold the top and it's got the crank. It looks like an egg beater.
It's geared.
Yeah, geared,
Yeah.
Those kinds of drills. Those are tough to find anymore.
Yeah.
Did he spend a lot of time in the shop?
All the time he could. Grandma never went downstairs except to do laundry, and he spent a lot of time down there. He was either out in his garden or down cellar. Now, the main thing I remember about Grandpa and the things that he kept busy doing is that Grandpa had something like 7 widows on the street for whom he put up the storm windows, took down the storm windows.
So he was the street's handyman for the single old ladies.
For all the widows on the street. All of the houses on Westwood Street were built at the same time in about 1935 and 1930. And everyone raised their families there, and so everyone knew everybody right to retirement. And as women became widows, he became the person who took care of their house, fixed things that were broken.
What did Mildred, or what did Ada think of that?
I would guess it didn't thrill her.
I never got the impression that they were very much married.
My father was born on December 9th, 1912. That night, my grandmother told my grandfather that he would never sleep with her again because she wasn't going to let that happen a second time.
That.
Well, she knew how the baby got into her. Nobody told her how it was going to get out.
Wow. Different era.
A bit, yes.
And I'm sure he wasn't even anywhere around. He was waiting at home probably for the news.
Oh, she was at home to deliver.
Oh,
I mean, you
home.
didn't go to the hospital.
That's
no.
true.
The doctor came to the house. Or in the case at that point, to the apartment they were living in, upstairs over her mother and stepfather. And at this time, this was just a few years before the great influenza epidemic, they rented upstairs over Old Man Sauer's apartment. Old Man Sauer owned the building. During the epidemic, my grandparents were very worried that what would happen if Grandpa got the flu and missed work and they couldn't pay the rent because they were sure that the stepfather would put them out on the street.
Wow.
And that was Old Man Sauer.
I don't remember that story. Wow.
They were down on First Street in Albany then.
Did you ever lose a finger on any of these Adirondack chairs?
No. I got pinched, but not badly, no. We learned early on that at the front of the seat, you could be pinched.
Yeah.
The back of your legs or your fingers, and to be careful there. Besides the adult-sized chairs, I had a child-sized chair, and I still at home have a doll-sized chair.
Really?
Yeah, of the same pattern.
Folding Adirondack chair, doll size?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That Grandpa made, yeah.